setting up all things tech, data, AI, crypto, blockchain, Web3, DevOps, cloud, product ownership, agile, prior to that, I was running a business in the UK myself. We've implemented Gen AI into the business when actually they've just spun up a report, which is not AI, that's data analysis. I don't know how the government will deal with the locals and stop them from gambling. That's going to be interesting to see.
Where do you see BTC in the next 10 years?
Governing most parts of the world. For meme coins specifically, they are simply pump and dump projects. People that are trying to generate mass interest in a particular asset for it to drive up in value. So the guys who have created it can take out their chunk at the top and then it will drop in value. And that's what will happen.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to yet another episode here at Bet Talks. My name's Rick Godds and I am joined by a guest. He is a tech AI recruitment specialist, crypto influencer, investor and entrepreneur. Let's welcome to the show, Ken Acar. Ken, welcome to Bet Talks.
Thank you very much, Rick. How are you?
I'm very well. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Good to be here.
Man. Good. Nice to have you here. Here at Bet Talks, we discuss everything from gaming/gambling, sports betting, crypto, AI, anything emerging tech. Globally, obviously we are based here in the UAE, Dubai. I know you've just moved here. How are you finding it?
Lovely, hot.
It's extremely hot. We are in the middle of summer at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I have found? I mean, I've been in Dubai for 5 years. A lot more people are actually staying now for summer than what they used to be. Everyone used to leave.
Right.
Now it's becoming sort of there's more events now in July and August, which just shows that more of a community is actually staying, more population. So
absolutely, yeah. No, I mean, I thought I would do my first summer here just to experience the worst at the start, so that I know what to expect next year when I'm here as well. So, but it's not too bad. It's just a bit humid. But
you're a newbie as a resident, but you've been coming here for a while.
Indeed, yes. So I've been coming for the last few years for business, just going to and from the UK to here, and for many reasons which probably shouldn't go on the show today. I thought, okay, why not just make the move? Come out here 2 days before the floods in April, which was quite an experience.
I bet it was,
Second day in the office, being locked in there until 4 a.m.
I bet it was.
Walking around Sheikh Zayed Road, barefoot
in puddles.
Thinking, should I swim home or should I not? But yeah, no, you know.
Or thinking, do I go back to the UK?
Apparently, I bought the UK weather here, is what they said. But no, it was an experience, and you know what? It's been amazing. It really is an amazing place. So yeah, really looking forward to more and more good things happening.
Good. So UK expat, half Turkish?
Full Turkish.
Full Turkish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've spent many time in Istanbul. You originally from Istanbul?
No. So my father's a Turkish Kurd.
Okay.
My mum's a Turkish Cypriot. So I'm a bit of a mix and match.
You've got a mix and match and everything in there.
But I look Arabic.
Yeah. I'll give you that. You have got.
Yeah. So but born and raised in the UK.
Yeah.
Everyone's there, all family
Basically
and stuff
a Brit.
there. Yeah.
Basically a Brit. Another Brit out in the UAE.
Indeed.
There's plenty of us here.
Yes,
There's plenty of us here. I mean, obviously, you are in the tech space.
Yes.
Dubai is an emerging tech hub. What is happening here is incredible. Here at Bet Talks, we do cover a lot of that. Also, gaming regulations come 2027, the first land-based casino opening in Ras Al Khaimah. What's your thoughts on that?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens, I think. I mean, firstly, given it's an Islamic country, I think one of the first things that comes to mind that it is completely against Islamic law, Sharia law.
But so was alcohol.
Indeed. From a personal standpoint, I think these things are starting to be introduced to accommodate the expats that are coming to the region, or maybe the non-Muslims that are coming to the region.
I'm guessing you are Muslim yourself.
I am indeed,
Yep.
yes. So from a personal standpoint, I don't agree with it. From a economic and from an attraction standpoint, in terms of creating a buzz about the region, I can understand why it's happening.
100%.
From a
I think it's a great way of evaluating it.
Yeah, I think from a tech and a data perspective specifically, the gaming betting space is actually quite an amazing space for a data specialist, because you've got so many different things so many different data points which somebody can actually go in and do some analysis on. You've got real-time gaming, you've got this, you've got that, you've got clickstream analysis. There's so many different things. So it's a real playground for a data and a tech specialist.
Yeah.
But then is it morally what somebody wants to do, right? And that's a different conversation.
I always say my opinion of it, listen, well, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. My opinion of it, it's going to take a long time before mass adoption actually accepts this.
Agreed.
Especially local Emiratis.
Yes.
Because it is frowned upon. It is haram, as they say. But wasn't many other things.
It's true.
Several years back, alcohol, being affectionate in the street, wearing females wearing not so much clothing.
Sure.
Now you go down several places around Dubai area, and it's a little bit different to what
Indeed.
it used to be.
Indeed.
But that's how the world evolves. That's how things progress. That's how more expat communities come to places like Dubai and make home here, just like yourself and like myself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, everybody has their own reasons as to why they want to come here ultimately, right? But I think the UAE, to start with, embarking upon this journey to have the first casino in Ras Al Khaimah in 2027 and going through all this stuff is, as I said, from a personal standpoint, I think it's an attraction point for expats around the world to come to the region. I don't know how the government will deal with the locals and stop them from gambling. That's going to be interesting to see.
What's your actual thoughts on that?
I think if it's gambling in the traditional sense of you're doing it for a bank with fiat currency, it's going to be pretty easy to track who's gambling, right? But I think now with the, with the fact you've got decentralized assets, you've got crypto, you've got stuff like this where you can gamble and it's quite hard to trace. It's not completely untraceable, but it's very hard to trace. I think it's going to be difficult for any sort of governing entity to be able to track who's doing what.
Sure, but then as you just mentioned crypto, I mean, Dubai is now very open to accepting crypto for apartments, for housing, for cars.
Yeah.
So where is that fine line to, because land-based casinos accepting not, or you can purchase houses and you can purchase cars? I mean, where's the line?
No, do you know what? It's going to be interesting to see. I really don't know, but I think just judging by the way the region has developed over the last, let's say, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same as what it was last year, let alone in the next 4 or 5 years what's going to happen. So I think the whole thing about this region is they want to make it as attractive as possible for people to live a good life and bring something to the region. Ultimately, you've got to bring something here.
100%.
Yeah.
I always say that. I say that to all of our guests here at Bet Talks, to all of our listeners. If you're coming to Dubai, you have got to be prepared to bring something to the table.
Absolutely.
Either whether it's being sponsored by a company
Yep.
or incorporating your own company and sponsoring yourself.
Absolutely.
Because if you're not, you've got your 90 days and then it's thank you. You've enjoyed your holiday.
Yep.
And now it's time to go back to wherever you
Yeah, no, you've got to be able to bring something to the table. And I think if it's, something as controversial, let's say, as gaming, betting, gambling, in a society where it is forbidden, it's just going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
I think you take a place in the GCC like Saudi, for example, who's also on the tip of everybody's tongues for many, many different reasons.
Many things, mainly sports.
Absolutely. But I think they're a little bit behind in terms of their development as to where Dubai is from a lot of different standpoints. There is a big expat community there, but also that is the central hub of the Islamic world. That is where the most holiest place of the Islamic religion is. It's going to be very interesting to see how they develop.
But Saudi is years behind Dubai.
I also agree with that.
Within purchasing property, actual residents being there, the acceptance of expats in general in Saudi is nothing like the level of what the UAE, not just Dubai, the UAE. I mean, you've got communities down in Abu Dhabi as well. It's not just Dubai. So as the UAE obviously is evolving, Saudi are years behind.
Yep.
Just in my opinion. But
look, I mean, we're on an opinionated show, right?
Of
I think this is, and talking from my own experience doing what I do in the recruitment space, I can talk and say even in the last 6 months, the majority of expats that want to move here versus that want to move to Saudi, there's a big difference. Here it's a very multicultural.
You find people asking to move to Saudi?
100%. 100%, yeah. Mainly Islamic people. or people that come from that world, but are based all around the country. They want to move there because of the Islamic culture, because of the Islamic way of living, and of course, for the financial gain and all the rest of it, right? But that's the main reason why they want to be there. Whereas I think expats, or I know actually expats that want to move here, yes, it is also because it's an Islamic country, obviously if they're Muslim, but it also caters to the non-Muslims. You know, you've got the nightlife, you have got the alcohol, you have got this, you have got that.
Festivals now.
Absolutely. You know, and everything you were saying before about, you know, females going around in, let's just say more Western or more, you know, European, American style dressing. Yeah. It's more accepting here. A lot more. And I think the locals, the Emiratis, are a lot more accepting.
I can remember coming here first, and when I first came here, before I moved here, it was back in 2015, 2015. And Ramadan, they used to cover up the shutters on the front of the windows so no one could see people actually eating.
Sure.
You couldn't sit outside eating or drinking. Now, you don't even know it's Ramadan. There was no music. There was no music on back then during Ramadan. Yeah. Now, nothing changes.
Yeah.
Nothing changes. Music's still on. People, no shutters on the windows. So it just shows you how it is evolving more westernized.
It is. Yeah, I agree. And I think that's the right way to put it, because, you know, and this is veering into another part which we won't go into too much on the show, but it veering more towards that Western society to cater for all the people to come in here is actually moving them away from the true Islamic side of what 100%. They should be doing. And depending on who you're talking to, depending on what side of the fence you're on, some people are actually very, very upset by that. Very upset by the fact that they're losing the authenticity, or starting to lose the authenticity by accepting
they will find it very hard to accept.
Absolutely.
The community will find it very hard to accept.
Because a lot of the things that happen in the Western world, or culturally, let's say, you know, what we've been used to. I was born and raised in a Western country. You know, I've seen it. I've grown up and seen it.
And now look at the state of the UK at the moment.
I mean, yeah, again, that's exactly
that's another topic.
Absolutely. But it's exactly that, you know, and it's just going to be interesting to see how this region deals with it. I think Dubai is the hotspot for most people, you know, around the world. This has become almost like, to use data terms, right? And anybody watching this that does data will understand. The Middle East has become almost like a data lake. And it's like a magnet, and it's attracting people from all over the world. You know, I read a stat last week, and it said
it's attracting more of a high end of society.
Absolutely,
people with wealth.
Well, as we said, you've got to bring something to the table, right? Whether that's finance, whether it's a new idea, whether it's something that's going to add value to this community. And I quite like that. I like that part of this place. You know, when you walk around, people are oozing success, not just financially, but people are doing things. People are motivated. People want you to be successful. It's a very different vibe to certain other places of this world, let's say.
Generally, people are bringing their businesses or their finances from other countries into Dubai.
Yes.
People are making money here, but there's a lot more money being brought here, companies, to obviously tax, etc., lifestyle, zero crime rate. So they're saying, why am I going to leave my money in, why am I going to have my business in France, let's say, or in the UK, where serious problems, serious taxes, when I can bring it here? It's so much easier. Which is a win-win. So, I mean, obviously, we discussed that side of things. I want to know a little bit more about yourself, Ken.
Sure.
All right? I want to know, obviously, you come under as a tech AI recruitment specialist. I mean, what's the name of the company? What do you do? Tell me more about yourself.
So I now work for a business here called Intelligent Solutions. I'm a director there, setting up all things tech, data, AI, crypto, blockchain, Web3, DevOps, cloud, product ownership, agile, la. Prior to that, I was running a business in the UK myself. So I had an agency doing exactly the same thing, servicing mainly the Western world. So I had customers in the UK, Europe, and the US. And we were doing very well. And then, of course, COVID happened, which was a bit of a blip, I think, for everybody in the world. But actually, we were okay, because tech was one of the very, very few areas of the world that could still continue through COVID, because everybody could work remotely.
Of course, and it's also such a big area.
Absolutely.
IT consultants, there's endless amounts of...
Absolutely, and it doesn't matter if you're not an expert in technology, right? I mean, look, we're sitting here in a studio, and there's cameras, and we've got, and it's all technology. Technology governs our lives, wherever we are, you know, from our phones to our cars to everything, you know. You order something, Kareem, Talabat, this, it governs our lives, whether you are a tech expert, whether you are not. So it's everywhere. And as I said, it's one of the very few industries that are almost recession proof. It's definitely natural disaster proof, as we've seen with the whole COVID thing. So we were doing very well. And then, of course, we saw the economic downturn of the Western world, the UK, then the Europeans followed suit, the ECB. Then we saw a massive downturn in the US, specifically in the tech and data and AI world. There was a big sort of mass exodus of people being made redundant, losing their jobs, restructuring, investors pulling out of deals, and people were panicking. They didn't really know what to do because no one really knew what was happening. Yeah. But people could still work. You've now got this decentralized way of working. People are working remotely. Companies are hiring people from all over the world.
This is the thing. Office spaces are also dying down.
They are. Yeah. Because COVID has proved that you can actually work effectively from, if the business is run correctly and the culture is right, you don't need that extra head space. No. You don't need that extra headcount. Sorry.
And also extra expenses.
Absolutely.
Office spaces are expensive.
You offset that, and you can hire somebody else, or you can have a co-working space where you can just go in once every so often. So anyway, all of that happened. All of my customers being in the Western world, one by one, saying to me, "Listen, Ken, we know you're great. We know you've placed these people, and you've done an amazing job. However, we're struggling. Our governments have raised taxes, inflation's gone up.
Not a great conversation to have.
No, look, we're actually letting people go. We're not hiring. So for me, it became a big problem. And then I started exploring other areas. Of course, me being Turkish, I went to my own home country. They were hit with actually the third greatest hike in inflation ever seen. So that wasn't a good space to be.
But you have such mass population in Turkey.
There's
30 million people in Istanbul.
Yeah, alone.
That's not even just in Turkey. I mean, the population is ridiculous.
It's absolutely huge.
It's the biggest city in Europe, correct? Yeah.
One of.
Yeah.
So it's again, separate conversation, but tough to see how the government are dealing with people there. Got to give kudos to the Western world in the sense that their governments do, in a certain respect, look after their people compared to other countries. I know a lot of Western people may disagree with that comment, but believe me, compared to some other governments, they really do. So anyway, none of that was working. But me being the entrepreneur that I am, I thought, no, there has to be a win somewhere. And everybody kept talking about the Middle East, Dubai this, Saudi that, Dubai this, Saudi that. And I said, okay, well, let me see if I can get out there and do some stuff. So I started networking with people from the UK, having conversations, started coming out here a few times. And then actually my best friend got a job out here last year to be the director of talent for a very large fintech here. And I said, great. Listen, get out there and I'm going to come out and see you. Let me check the place out. Let me see what it's really about. Is there a real buzz that people are talking about? It seems all cool from the UK. People are talking a good game on video calls and whatever, but I physically want to see the place. I want to see the place. What's it about? So I came out here last year properly for business and a bit of pleasure, of course. But it wasn't just 2 or 3 days in a hotel and then going back as you do when you're on a business trip. This was, right, let's see. Let's go around.
Conferences, events, networking.
Absolutely, all that jazz. And I loved it. I was like, okay, this is it. This is the place for me. And then, started planning. And I made the move in Q1 this year.
Brilliant. Yeah, you're alone or with family? Or
I'm here alone at the moment. Yeah, family back home.
Yes, of course. Brilliant. Well, listen, obviously exciting times ahead.
Absolutely.
And it is the place to be, especially in a tech field that you are.
Yep.
It is a tech hub, with obviously all emerging tech companies, AI, which is another conversation we can have, blockchain, crypto. I mean, let's just let's brush over the topic of crypto, because I know you've been in the space for quite a while.
Yes.
When did you first get into crypto?
So I first got into crypto as an investor in 2014.
You're technically an OG then,
Some people say, yeah.
Some people say
I haven't got yachts with Roman Abramovich just yet, but getting there. No, but I first invested my first bit of actual money into crypto in 2014. I've known about crypto since 2011. But it really wasn't something I was looking into. It was just people were talking about it as they were at the time. There were loads of stories going around, the whole pizza thing, someone spending 100 Bitcoin on a pizza, blah, 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 blah. And so the added benefit that I have is working in my space is I get to find out about some of these technical and AI advancements, sometimes actually before they hit the market, right? So I remember when the first smart TV was released, for example, to market, however many years ago that was, I knew about that before I actually hit the market. I actually got myself one before it hit the market. I remember when people were talking about autonomous cars. I knew about that because I knew the people that were building it.
Yeah.
Right. So this industry really does. This is why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I get to find out about some of these advancements before they hit the market. And cryptocurrency, I feel, was one of those. I managed to stumble across some crypto exchanges that became my clients. And I got very interested in the space, and I was like, okay, well, I want to hear about this. I see people making a lot of money through trading. I had absolutely no clue how they did it.
Yeah.
But working with a crypto exchange really helped me. Some of the guys there who became good friends of mine, who are still friends of mine in today's world, educated me on it. Never advised me. They were very, very cautious about advising. We're not giving you financial advice, Ken, but look, if you're really interested, have a read of this, this, and this, and understand what their values are in the world. You put your money where you think you want to put it. It's up to you, but be safe with it, right? And I said, okay, cool. So, and I did. I bought my first bit of Bitcoin, and then it started evolving and expanding, and I started expanding the portfolio, and then you had all these other crazies. Then NFTs started hitting the market, and you had all sorts of other
now
stuff.
You got the meme coins.
Meme coins,
it's endless.
I mean, meme coins are different people say different things. I think they're very much pump and dump projects.
Is crypto gambling?
If you know what you're doing, no. If you don't know what you're doing, yes, is the very short answer to your question.
Do you believe in tokens that have an actual usability case, whereas meme coins don't actually have any particular framework? There's no actual company behind, there's no business, there's no... Not that we know the founders of BTC, but I'm saying is there's no actual structure, there's no business concept on these.
No, as I said, I think for meme coins specifically, they are simply pump and dump projects. People that are trying to generate mass interest in a particular asset for it to drive up in value, so the guys who have created it can take out their chunk at the top, and then it will drop in value. And that's what will happen. You have the odd cases like the Musk's Dogecoin or Dogcoin or Dogecoin, whatever people are calling it, where it has a specific influencer backing it, and he's actually trying to make use out of a meme coin, but it's still a meme coin.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember when I first made my bit of profit off of Dogecoin a few years back, that was actually when the GameStop stuff was happening at the time. And it was because of influencers. It was because of Musk and a lot of amateur traders on Reddit.
Sure.
All gassing it up, all basically making it sound like it was something it was. And that's what happens. So for me, trading, so I can see why people make a big comparison between trading and gambling. I can see it. And I think every trader will agree that at the start, you are somewhat gambling because you don't really know what you're doing, right? And I think a lot of people that start trading, I mean, trading companies now are very, very, they cover themselves by saying, look, here's a practice account, use this and get good. And I was probably one of the very few in the market that actually used that. I think a lot of people just get hungry and they want to make the cash, right? So you've got to make your mistakes, otherwise you lose real money. That's when you're gambling. But I think once you understand what you're doing and you can start to control how you're trading and you can set limits, you have full control over your trades. If you're doing intraday trading, for example, you set your stop losses, you set your take profits, your trailing stop losses, whatever you're setting. You can actually...
You're controlling it.
Absolutely. You can be very, very specific and control about your trade, right?
So that level of greed doesn't kick in.
Well, it does. I think it does.
Yeah.
It does because people move them limits when they see a market going a certain way, and this comes into my next point. So I have a degree in psychology, right? And trading is I'm passionate about trading because it is vastly a psychology game. It's driven by people, and it's all about people. And if you look at some of the biggest traders in the world, they all say it's about psychology, right? And it's about people. Greed is something that you mentioned. This is what happens with people. They win a few trades. They think, oh, okay, cool.
Well, I'm an expert in this.
But it's exactly how a gambler thinks. It's like, oh, I've won a few rounds of roulette or whatever it is. Okay, I'll go big on the next one.
We'll double up.
And they lose it all. And this is what traders do. Or they'll say, oh, we set our stop loss here, take profits here, but the market's booming up. Oh, seeing a big green candle or big whatever color candles. I'll keep moving my take profit. And all of a sudden, the back end falls out of the market and they lose everything. They haven't set a stop loss or whatever the case may be. So that's gambling for me. If you're very disciplined with actually how you trade, you stick to your trading strategy, you keep a journal, you track your data, you be very, very disciplined, you remove the emotion from your trading, that's when you become a good trader. Doesn't mean you're going to become a millionaire or a multi-billionaire overnight. No trader has done that. That's why people do this professionally for a living. It's all about keeping disciplined. And I think that's the key difference between trading and gambling. With gambling, as far as I'm aware, you don't have full control over your gambling. There's probably companies out there that maybe allow you to do it, but I don't think you're in full control.
You just spoke about one thing a minute ago, which was emotion.
Sure.
AI technology has no emotion.
Not yet.
Not yet. How do you feel about these AI bots that are controlling trading platforms, and how do you feel about that?
When you say controlling,
well, that are
platforms,
managing people's portfolios, etc. And
listen, I think fair enough. You know, I think if it's working for them, why not?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to lie. I've used a few of them before. You know, it
Has
helps
it
being
worked?
in the industry. Yeah, some of them have worked. You know, I'm again fortunate enough to be in the industry I'm in, where I work with the people that build these bots, because they're ultimately machine learning algorithms.
yeah,
But it's very, very tough to build one that's a one size fits all for a market, because the markets, especially crypto, it's huge. The amount of data you're dealing with is huge, and
well, the whole
markets are
market
too big.
of trading itself, from FX trading to crypto trading.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a trader on this morning. It's endless market.
It really is.
Endless.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, Dubai now obviously is integrating AI technology
Yes.
on a rapid scale.
Yes.
Saying that there's going to be flying drones coming in the next few years. And where do you see Dubai in the next 10 years?
It's going to be interesting to see where it goes. I think the guys are very serious about what they want to do here. I think the government, the Sheikh, Prince, etc. I think they're very, very pro making this place the most attractive place to be, and I think they're doing a good job at it at the moment, to be honest. Where will it be in 10 years? I mean, will we have flying drones and AI? And I think we will. Absolutely. Not just here. I think globally we will. But I think, will the Middle East be one of the first parts of the world to adopt it? Yeah, if they get the right people in. So again, with AI being very close to what I do, there's a lot of talk about AI being implemented into businesses, right? But when you actually dig deeper and get under the hood of what's actually going on, a lot of it at the moment is not AI. It's not.
In what way?
I'm trying to see if I can give you a simple example. Okay, fine. So you will get a lot of companies that have said, that say, oh yes, you know, we've now got an AI component to our offering. We've now got this, or we've implemented Gen AI into the business. When actually, they've just spun up a report, which is not AI. That's data analysis.
Yeah.
That's what we call business intelligence, as opposed to, or descriptive analytics, as opposed to predictive analytics, which is where your machine learning and your AI comes in, right? So I think what a lot of businesses are doing now is they're using AI as a marketing tool to generate interest and generate revenue. Are they doing true AI? No. Have they got the capability to do true AI? Possibly. If the people at the top of the business really truly understand and agree with it, and let the experts run with it.
I believe ChatGPT is a very prime example of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is.
Massively.
Yeah. And that is AI at its finest.
And that has taken away employment.
Well, it has.
Yeah.
It's cut a lot of functional employment.
100%.
Yeah. And it got multi-million sign-ups within the first week of it being released.
Yeah.
Right. And now you've got, you know, the Geminis, and you've got the co-pilots, and you've got all these other sort of LLMs now spinning up off the back of it. You know, that product within itself can spin up AI models.
Yeah.
Right. So there is now a question within the tech space, as in, do we need software developers? Do we need engineers? Because you can actually ask ChatGPT to code for you. You know, okay, you need a human to actually check the code and maybe spin up some tests around it, whatever they do, but it can actually code for you. It can build stuff for you. So yeah, it's AI will become more prominent here. It will. But
Within
I think it's
time,
and it's one of the main reasons why I decided to come here, because coming from the Western world, which is a little bit more advanced, I would say, than the Middle East when it comes to their AI presence, I think these people now wanting to come to the region because they want a better life.
Digital currency now here is a lot more advanced, in my opinion.
In terms of usage, agreed.
Acceptance, conversion.
Agreed. Yes. But you look at where these coins are all built, all the main ones that we hear, it's not here.
States, China.
Yeah, exactly. All these Eastern Asian world.
So your bigger mass population countries, the UAE is tipping on the toes of creating this framework of more acceptance.
Yeah.
So you've got a degree in psychology.
I do.
You're also very tech savvy, I can tell by the conversations that we're having,
Yes.
and very knowledgeable as well.
Sure.
Why would you not continue a career in psychology rather than technology?
Because I've got enough problems of my own to deal with, let alone anyone else's.
Okay.
No, in all seriousness, I did think about it. But I guess an anecdotal story. When I was at university, so I went to Durham University, which is one of the very close. Good night out. Very good night out.
To the listeners, good night out.
No alcohol, obviously. Great night out. But when I was in my final year, because it's an intercollegiate system, much like Oxford and Cambridge, I was voted in to be the social director. And one of my first jobs as the social director was to organise the Freshers Week for the new cohort of freshers that were coming in, which was circa 800 students. So part of that process was obviously setting up all sorts of different events for people that like doing different things. Some people did like to go out clubbing and barring and whatever. Some people like to stay and watch movies, play chess, do this and that. So I had to organise everything. And part of that process was to recruit my team of people, your reps, sales reps, your med reps and or welfare reps, we called them, the social reps that would go out and make people feel a little bit more at ease because they're coming somewhere new, blah, blah, blah. That was all really good fun, that whole recruitment process. I mean, obviously it wasn't as professional as what I do today, but just being able to match people up with different personalities to a team, understanding who would work well here, who would work well there. And that Freshers Week to date was still the most profitable that college has ever had. So I thought, okay, I need to be in a role that involves people that can allow me to make good money. Recruitment.
There you go.
There we go. Here we are.
Okay, so you are obviously focused on recruitment. I mean, here at Bet Talks, we have endless amounts of listeners. Okay, so we like to bring new people in to get new opinions from people and new insights. I mean, a lot of people see this show. So you've just moved to Dubai.
Yep.
Okay, 5 months now as a resident. How do you see the future looking for you, or where do you want the future to go for you?
I definitely see myself here for a number of reasons, personal reasons. It's a very good location in the world, 6 or 7 hours on average to most countries in the world. It's very close to Turkey, which is obviously my home country. I can go back and see, friends and family whenever I need to go and see them. It gives my family in the UK an opportunity to come out here, which they haven't yet, but they will. My brother comes out in November and stuff like that. They've never been to this part of the world. So it's great from that respect. I think from a quality of life perspective, it goes without saying, I think 99% of people would agree with me that the quality of life here is much better than many other parts of the world, especially the UK, where I've come from at the moment. Sure. And I think from an economic standpoint, in terms of business and being able to succeed and actually having the opportunity to build a life for yourself here, I don't see anywhere better at the moment. So unless something catastrophically changes that we cannot foresee, I don't see myself moving from here.
It is a great hub. I use Dubai obviously as a base, but it's a great hub between Europe and Asia.
Absolutely.
I spend a lot of time in Asia.
Sure.
But in regards to the people you meet, especially people in Europe, a lot of people are very negative about meeting new people, new ideas, new concepts. Whereas you come to Dubai, everyone's very open.
Yes.
People want to talk to you.
Yes.
People want to get to know you.
Yes.
Even if there's nothing there and you're on the one side of the table and you're on the other side of the table, the conversation is, how could we potentially do something together?
Yep, exactly what I was saying to you before about people wanting people to be successful here.
Correct.
Right? Again, I'll talk as an expert in the recruitment space. You go to the Western world, right, and you meet somebody or you call somebody up and it's a cold call. You've not spoken to them before, right? That person on the whole is not going to want to talk to you, right? Why are you calling me? Where'd you get my number from? Blah, 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 blah. Go away. We've got our preferred suppliers. Blah, blah, blah. What are you trying to sell me, basically, right? It's quite negative. You come here, and as I said, people want to help you. Oh, okay, this is what you do. Great, that's amazing. We can see your value. Let me try and introduce you to people that will help you.
Yeah.
Right? We maybe don't have anything for you now, but these people may have something for you. You know, and that's great. And I think it comes down to the culture. It's a very relationship-driven culture here, and it's a very trust-driven culture here.
I also think that everyone's in the same boat, because 80% of people you see are expats.
Yeah.
So everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's here to make a good quality of life, to network, to meet new people. So it's not. Also, is one thing you'll see as well. You never meet any elderly people here.
It's actually true.
You don't see no elderly people.
Depends on what you define as elderly. I mean, I've seen some 60 pluses in bars.
I would say elderly is you don't see elderly as in your grandmas and your granddads.
Sure.
Because it's not catered for that.
No.
And when you go back home, you're like, you don't see this in Dubai. And it's so true when you look at that.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Yeah. You never see any elderly people.
I didn't think of that at
No.
all. No.
Just one more question before we wrap things up.
No problem.
I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah,
it's been
likewise,
great, Ken, having you on the show.
Sure.
Where do you see BTC in the next 10 years?
Governing most parts of the world.
That's a big call.
No. Look, I think when it comes to decentralized finance, cryptocurrency, it's gonna take the world by storm. I think 10 years we're going to be having very, very different conversations. We're going to be seeing very young people in very, very senior or very high financial gain or high financial wealth positions that they didn't think they would be in.
Do you see BTC taking over the banks?
Probably.
That's a big call.
Yeah, probably.
What is your thoughts on Trump and cryptocurrency comments or quotes that he's made?
I think he's you know, it's difficult to say. I've got to be careful what I say.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Sure, I think he has a huge vested interest in assets, and he's also an influencer. So going back to what I was saying before, in such an unregulated space, you know, even though you've got the SEC and a few other sort of governing entities that are trying to regulate certain assets within the decentralized space, when you have an influencer that talks, people follow suit. So those influencers can have power, and if they have a vested interest in something, then yes. So I think his comments are largely born out of personal.
I believe that every
gain.
single token in the market ever launched has been influenced by someone, and someone listening to them to buy it.
That's absolutely
because
what it is.
On the factor of it, what is the actual real usability case of it?
Yeah, there isn't one.
And as long as USDT stays around, I can't see crypto going anywhere.
It won't. I would make a bolder claim as this, and I'd like to watch this back in 10 years' time. Cryptocurrency will never die. It will never die. It will go up and down. It will be, swings and roundabouts, and we may have God forbid we don't, but we may have another recession. We may see it hit $3,000 again, but it will never grind out to a zero.
But this is where I think that stable tokens will see the market increase.
Absolutely.
People feel more secure.
Yeah.
Holding stable tokens. No, what is the security in BTC or Ethereum? Where's your security in your assets?
I think the security is knowing that only you. Well, actually, no, that's a bold statement. There are less people that know where your assets are.
Yeah.
There are less eyes on it.
Correct. But then that stays unregulated.
True. For now.
For now. More regulations, people are going to know where your assets are.
Yeah, but I think systems are also made to be broken. And someone somewhere will find a loophole. Yeah. And someone somewhere will know, there's always someone smarter around that knows how to move their, crypto assets or their decentralized assets around for it to be untraceable. We touched on this topic before. People think that having cryptocurrency means that you can't trace what you're doing. That's not necessarily true. Yes.
Everything's logged on the blockchain. So,
it is, but even so, blockchain will multiply that transaction umpteen times, so you cannot track where the true transaction took place. That's why the blockchain is so attractive to a lot of things, not just crypto companies.
Not just crypto companies.
A lot of legal firms
Trading
using it now,
companies.
trading. Yeah, because you can't
schooling.
Absolutely.
Right? Hospitals, education.
But you look at where, like, if we talk crypto, you look at where they're held. You know, largely a lot of people hold them on exchanges, which they shouldn't do, right? For obvious reasons. There's been a lot of cases where people lose their money, so don't hold it on exchanges. But then you hold it also in a cold wallet, right? A ledger of some sort. But there's even been cases where ledger data has been hacked. So is your money truly safe?
There you go.
Is it truly safe? You never know. That's why you've got to constantly move it around.
Brilliant. I've really enjoyed our chat.
So have I. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming to Bet Talks. We've discussed a lot of things from tech AI, recruitment, just a newbie here in the UAE, crypto, investing, etc., benefits, peaks and troughs, casinos within the UAE. So listen, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, and lovely to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Woo!